Okay, hello everyone. This is a first time for me, and depending on how this goes, it might be an only. But because I had so much fun picking out my pen and designing them with Alan and going through and picking out my blanks, I wanted to share my pens that I just received and a little bit of comparison if anyone else is trying to decide between your different models and what they look like compared to pens you may or may not already have. So I'm going to start. I actually won 2 blanks, so thank you very much that Tristan did. And the first live I joined. And then they did their blank drop, so I purchased more blanks, of course, because that's what you would do. So one of the first ones I purchased in the drop is called Early Bloom, and I got it in a nib holder. So again, forgive me if I do a terrible job showcasing this, but I'm trying to do this for the first time, but I wanted to show just how gorgeous this nib holder is and what a beautiful polish it is and how beautiful this blank is. So I wanted to see if I could get good lighting on here to show you. And then for a nib holder, you can see here that you actually can replace it with different nibs for a dip pin testing experience. So again, hopefully you can see that. It looks like it's coming off a little blurry. But again, a beautiful, beautiful nib holder, and I think a perfect size to hold. And I can compare that with some additional pins for you. So maybe I'll pull, this is a Jinhao 10, if anyone has a Jinhao 10. And you can see here, they're very similar in size and length. So again, just wanted to give you a size comparison for what this might look like. And again, this is gorgeous, and I will probably order another one because I do love to sample inks and test inks. And so I have a couple of nibs that would be really fun to play with these different nib holders. The second pen that I bought is the Snow Cone blank, again from Tristan in the Antoinette, and I wanted to show you how gorgeous this pin is as well. So this pin body is shaped to be held like a paintbrush, so if you're an artist, and it does have a threaded cap, and it's just beautiful, and it sits really nicely in the hand, and the cap is cute and short, and it can also be put on the back to post. And this has a Fountain Pen Revolution nib in it. This is a flex nib that I'm excited to try. But again, just from a quality perspective and an artisan perspective, I want you guys to see how beautiful this, sorry, these threads are perfect. It's my eyes that are not perfect today. So let me fix that. There we go. So nicely threaded. But again, this is the Snow Cone blank, and hopefully you can see just the gorgeous color and sheen within that. So I cannot wait to try this with different inks. And then this one, another interesting thing about this pen is that it is an eyedropper fill. So you take the cartridge or the nib holder out and you eyedropper it with ink. So to give you just a size comparison, again, for those who are trying to envision what these look like next to pins you may have, I was going to show a TWSBI Eco. So again, there's a TWSBI Eco. Let me uncap it, and you can see it side by side. So I'd say very, very similar in body length, and obviously different in the cap length. But again, a gorgeous pen, and I would say body size wise, maybe similar to, this is a Leonardo Momento, not a Grande, just a Momento. Similar maybe in size to this pen. And again, that is the Antoinette model. And last but not least, I'm obsessed with this pin. This was a custom pin that with the finials that Alan and I worked together on. I bought, actually, let's see, I think I picked up both of these blanks through the pin drop, and they were both Tristan's. I just absolutely love the sparkle in this one, and I didn't want to do a full pin in it, but I thought it would be beautiful for accents in another pin blank. So this is the Alpha. So again, it does not post, but this is the Alpha pin, and I hope you can see how gorgeous the coloring is and how these swirls show up with just a little bit of sparkle in that resin. And again, this big, beautiful mix of sparkles in these accent pieces, which again, I am obsessed with this and how gorgeous it is. So again, this is the Alpha. The resin of the main pen body is the Aurora Drift. And again, if I get any of these wrong, feel free to correct me, guys. But I absolutely love them. And then one of the things that Alan did for me was actually made a second nib holder. So I can actually switch this out between two different nibs and change up the look of the pen by swapping out the nib holder if I want it to match in the Aurora Drift versus the sparkle. And I'm just so obsessed. I cannot wait to ink this up. But let me give you some comparisons because these are large pens. I love large pens. So I have a couple large pens. One that I thought I could show you, again, here's this pen next to the TWSBI. I'll show it to you capped. And I'll swirl it a bit because it's just too pretty not to. And again, here's a TWSBI next to it. For comparison purposes, here is the Antoinette pen next to it. And here's the nib holder, so that you can compare them against each other. And then for other pins you may have handy for comparison, let's see, this is a Walltown Watts pen. So it's a shorter pen, but a thicker pen. I put the TWSBI out here, so I'll set this down here. I do have a Monte Grappa Elmo 2, which is a gorgeous pen in my opinion. And then probably the closest one I have, let's see, if you have an Esterbrook Esty, lengthwise, we'll do a quick comparison. So very close in length, but obviously different in width. And if any of you have purchased from Bone Crusher Studios, which I love his pens as well. This is a Velma pen style, and it's probably the largest pen I have prior to this pen. So again, wanted to be able to show you a couple larger or longer pens for comparison. And I will take the caps off for you so that you can take a look. And I may just stare at these beautiful pens for a while myself. So you can see very, very similar body size between this Bone Crusher Velma Maker pen. And then here is the Esterbrook Esty. And again, I won't cap these because I bought the Alpha, which does not cap. And I'll slide one more on there. Here's your TWSBI Eco, if anybody has a TWSBI for comparison. So again, I just wanted to take a moment and record this. One, because I'm so thankful for what amazing pens and quality and just how gorgeous these are. They're too pretty not to share. But two, I know how much time I spent looking at the different pens, trying to figure out what I thought would make the most sense with what I like, and I was hoping that a little comparison might be useful as well for some of you as you're making decisions And yes, highly recommend. If anyone wants to see these inked up, I can post a second video. But thank you for putting up with me on my very first ever video pen review. And I hope this helps you pick some pens.